So we are working on a, what is this? BMW. It's a BMW. Some kind of BMW. 135i. That means that it's, the I is for turbo, I think. The I stands for, the I stands for a I-beam turbo setup.
The 135 is for the turbo.
So what happened? She was running good and an injector just stopped.
So it was running, driving, everything when filled up on E60 or E50. I don't know what mix is on it right now. And one of the index 6 injectors gave out. So happens to be number 6. So gotta take off the injector, gotta take off the rail piece that connects to the injector, because you know how much we love direct injection. And
we don't loosen lines on direct injection when it's running.
Yeah.
And we don't feel for leaks on direct injection when it's running. There's a good reason for that. People die doing that. So here's a little informative bit on those. So what's the line pressure on this one, do you think?
Idle?
Just, yeah, at idle.
I think it hovers anywhere from like 15 to 1800. Obviously, I'm not a tuner.
Rough guess.
You know, somewhere up there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Somewhere over 1,000 PSI. A small stream of gasoline at 1,000 PSI is really good at piercing skin. And I don't know about you guys. I mean, my body's pretty used to chemicals, but you start throwing, well, I don't even know what that would be flowing at, a little small, like a little small pinhole leak.
This injector, technically, if you hooked it up to fuel right now and you got it to open, we could cut through a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So what happens, you have your stupid little finger and you start feeling around for leaks in there. The gas goes right into your finger and it pretty much gas directly to your bloodstream. It goes pretty deep in there too. That also goes for a lot of diesels. There's been a lot of people who've gotten really sick and or died working on diesels. Diesels have a lot higher of line pressure too. Some of them, I think they range anywhere from like 20,000 PSI to, you know, up to 60,000 PSI. So that's why you want to be careful with those.
And this is the injector, everyone, okay? So I think the way to really tell is you read these numbers, and at the end, I think by this is the 06, and I think that's what it means is the index 6 injectors. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they actually go off of. And
if it's not, we'll cut this.
Yeah, if it's not the, if it's not the new style, I think it's the new style is index 12 or whatever. You know, I'm not the whole numbers worthy person when it comes to that. But if you look in here, you can't look really good. This injector's fried. And the reason why is there's like a little seal in here, and the seal got destroyed by the E85, and it just completely clogged it closed. So now this thing's worthless. So anyways, the best thing to do now is probably pull the pump and hanger on the car and also figure out how the inside of the fuel assembly looks, because it could be pretty contaminated.
Yeah, the rest of it all could be kind of crappy.
Stuff coming out of this injector actually.
Yeah, it might not hurt.
Does that smell like E85 to you? Yeah, definitely, 100%, huh?
No.
Smell? Like an E6, it's a mix.
Yeah, it smells like gross. Smells like gross old gas. I know this has this sat. Has this sat for a while?
It just smells disgusting when you mix E85 and.
Yeah, that's a good point. Smells like E10.
Well,
E10 is like the worst.
When you mix it, what I think actually happens when you mix
we're getting into chemistry now.
No, I'm not getting into any chemistry. I just think when you mix that shit, it just, even when you're behind the car, in my opinion, I think it reeks.
Yeah.
I think it still smells like a car that's just a regular pump gas, but some people like to say that they can smell the difference. I can't.
Well,
I personally think
when you get, I don't remember the study exactly, but I think once you get over like 35% ethanol, you pretty much have the same octane rating.
No, that's not right.
No, they did
it's over 70%. I think
No.
it's over 70%. I think the number that you're looking for, like E85, anything under 69 or 70% is not like good E85.
Well, yeah, you don't want to run it on an E85 tune because it's going to be running rich, is what happens. But the octane rating itself, so if you have like a flex fuel system, it doesn't matter. It'll compensate for it. Yes.
Yeah.
So once you get over like 35 or 30 or whatever it is percent
I think it's
ethanol,
70% that you're talking about, though. I promise you.
I remember reading into this.
70%.
But so whatever percentage it ends up being, at a certain point, you end up, we're just going to disagree on this one until we find the actual article.
It's 70%.
I'll post a link to the 35% or 30% in the comments. But like, so as long as you have the same octane rating, you're fine. But so like, let's say you got E65 on an E85 tune. What you're going to end up having is it's going to end up running richer because on E85 you need a lot more fuel. So sometimes it's good and bad. Like let's say you have a E85 tune and you tuned it on E75 on 75%. And somehow you magically get a batch where, you know, their measuring devices weren't working perfectly at the gas station, something like that. And you get 95%. You're going to be like, holy crap, that's awesome. I've got 95% ethanol. This thing is going to scream. It's probably going to run a little bit lean at that point because you're going to need more fuel than you're actually tuned for. So you're going to want to try to avoid doing something like that. So whatever you tune it for, you want to stay close, have a wideband, make sure everything's good, keep an eye on everything. That's why flex fuel systems are a lot better than just running it on like an E85 or a 93 tune and switching back and forth.
Do you think the majority of the reasons why people that like go to like, you know, obviously they go to like California and Colorado, not California and Colorado, but they go to like California and Florida and places that are generally, you know, warm and they don't get the E85, you know, the blended fuel, like during the you know, winter blend?
Yep.
Do you think that's why a lot of people bring that car to like Nebraska and actually end up like blowing them up and like bending rods and shit?
It's very possible. The last time I took the GTO out of state, I filled up. The E85 tune was pretty close, but I never tested it. You really just have to test it. And if it's a gas station where you're not running as, or I guess I should say if they're not refilling the tank as often, E85 attracts water. And the issue with water in the fuel is, let's say you have like 5% water, 75% ethanol, and then I guess what would the rest of that be? 20% regular gas. So it's going to, even though you only have 75% ethanol, it's going to register as 80% ethanol because on most of the flex fuel sensors, you know, when you do the little, whatever you call it, the little vial where you actually test it, you normally get pretty good results with that. But if you're actually testing it with a flex fuel sensor, like all of the GM flex fuel sensors, they actually register water and ethanol the exact same. So you can have it being way off from where it actually is. I mean, you could have 20% water in your fuel system and the rest gas, and it's going to be reading as a 20% ethanol tune. So you really have to watch out for that. I feel like that's why most nitrous guys have a lot of issues with ethanol. That's always been a theory of mine, that it's the water content that really messes with stuff. I can't 100% say, you know, like that's just a theory. No one's actually done a test on it, but that might be something to look into. Might be something we could test.
Every time I work on like a BMW or something, you know, the thing that amazes me is there's so many shops that, you know, claim to be like import shops and whatnot, and, you know, they do this work like crazy all the time. But like, is there a reason why this, I mean, even if you're paying someone, is there a reason that this should be like a $2,000 job? Like, I mean, seriously. Like, I mean, you gotta be marking up the parts, you know, like crazy amounts.
You have to kind of look into the liability aspect of all of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about like all the insurance, everything that goes into it. It's like, okay, so like let's say you put that line back on and it leaks
okay,
and the car burns down. You're burning down a lot more expensive of a car. I mean, it's not like you're burning down a $5,000 Cobalt.
Well, yeah.
These are a little bit more expensive,
let's
but
look at a low mile 135i with the red interior with the black obsidian exterior.
if it had a different color interior, maybe. But the red interior won't let it start on fire. Did you already put the new injector in?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's so much more simple, like, than a VW.
Yeah.
If I was doing this on a VW, like, okay, I can understand being, like, very ridiculously priced.
The Chevys need a puller to take the injectors out.
Yeah, which is
Actually,
funny.
like, pressed into the head.
I thought, well, yeah, same with, like, Range Rover, or Land Rover, whatever, Range Rover, all those. They all need them. I did see that. But I think Range Rover and Land Rover and all those other ones, I actually think that's Ford-owned, if
Yes.
I'm not wrong.
Well, they were. I don't know if they are anymore.
Well,
I think Ford just
most
kind
of
of
them look
like
Fords to me.
I think Ford, well, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to look
I know
into that.
The Evoque, the Land Rover Evoque.
We've got a bunch of information we don't really know. They for sure were in the early 2000s, and the 4 liters that they put in everything make me want to scream. They're the worst things ever. Only second to the 4 liters that they put in Ford cars and Escapes. So, like, I mean, for what that's worth, it's like, hey, how you guys doing today? Would you like me to burn up a coil driver? Because we sure can do that.
Dude, I feel like that's also a common issue on a lot of GM cars, isn't it? The V6 GM motors that are in the truck.
No. I mean, the ignition control modules burn up sometimes.
ICM.
But that's just an ICM, that's not the whole ECU.
You know, it's kind of scary that a guy that works on mainly imports has this laying around the shop. I mean, maybe you could tell me what this is. Ignition control module for a GM.
Oh, that looks gross.
Yeah,
It looks like an old map sensor, but there's no
No.
nothing. Well, I know what it is.
V6 Allo truck.
I know what it is. Yeah, I remember that truck. That thing was terrible. What's this? You got OBD2 port. Look at this. Look at that. That is the pimp sauce there.
It works, dude.
No, it works. I have just as crappy of a scanner at my shop.
You know what it needs to do?
What?
Virtually, basically tell me nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Then you go back to square one. Because codes don't fix cars, do they, Bonanza? Nope. Fixing the mechanical issue fixes cars.
Then I'm putting a
What are you doing?
injector on a car like this. But what else are you gonna put on it? You know,
Well, I mean, if you put in a new injector, it's not going to match, right? Let me.
exactly why I put a used one.
We're going to stand over here. Oh, stereo. Bonanza, come here. Fixed it.
And it's got a hiccup. It's got a hiccup, but it's hiccuping because the ECU has stored codes.
What we're not going to do is feel around for leaks. Right.
What? I ain't feeling around for nothing. I'm just gonna make sure this is sitting where it's at. I'll look for leaks, but I ain't gonna feel it.
No.
And nor am I gonna try to tighten the line and blow it off in my face.
Oh. Yeah?
Actually, BMW has a safety where it won't let you, like, they don't kill the injector once it realizes the fuel pressure isn't really dropping, like, dramatically. The fuel
Yeah.
pressure, no, right here.
By then it's already in your
The
skin.
fuel pressure sensor will kill it immediately, and the ECU in the car will just die.
Okay.
I know that one time because I was trying to bypass it. I took this rail off and I tried to just, prime it and drain the tank, obviously, because this car, another customer of mine filled it with a complete E85, and you can't do that because these injectors won't hold it. It just basically it's not good enough for the fueling, so you have to add a second rail, for injection.
Yep.
And he filled it with all the way E85, and I mean the car wouldn't even start. So
Ruined it.
I tried to bypass it, try to make it just bleed out through a period.
Live and learn.
Yeah, it runs actually.
Scary loud car, isn't it? Maybe. Yeah, it runs good. Sounded terrible before.
Well, you heard how it sounded.
Yeah, barely drove in here.
It was like,
Something about something about inline motors and dead cylinders just doesn't go don't go together very well.
Hey,
Like-
you've ever smelled anything that smells
Oh
good.
my God.
Look, I'm not gonna show the brand because I really like how it smells.
What is it?
What's that
You
smell like?
It smells like a bowling alley. like a bunch of rich people at a bowling alley.
It's hilarious because that's exactly, I was like, dude, this feels like it's way too expensive. And then he goes, yeah, that's like $2.50 cologne that I picked up at like Walgreens or some shit. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, perfect.
But it runs good.
It's like if Brood and Abercrombie got together. Yep. Perfect. All right, so there wasn't a lot of good like technical information on this because I mean really all you end up doing is taking off those two fittings. And did you even lift up the rail? No, you don't have to. You literally just, oh, you have some kind of, was there something?
I don't know why
here?
they sound like that. I think they sound like that. All the BMWs sound like that. I don't know why. It's not leaking fuel anywhere. It sounded like that before. So.
Okay.
Also, that's another thing, guys. If you're working on a car, always like inspect how it sounds when you shut it off and when you start it, because you don't ever want to do like a stupid fuel injector or something and then have the customer tell you, well, that grinding noise wasn't there after I started it.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
I have tuned cars before and not touched anything on startup, anything on idle, nothing. And people are like, oh, starter sounds different now. I'm like, the tune doesn't change how the starter sounds. I didn't change any timing. Cranking timing can change. That's still what it changed the starter sound. So, but in recap, it's one bolt. Looks like one bolt.
Yeah,
a connector there. And then make sure you get these tightened back up exactly where they need to be. I don't know if we have a foot-pound rating here, but all right. It's not. We'll figure it out.
I'm not gonna do the whole foot-pound rating and stuff. I've done so many of them that I know not to torque on it like I'm Popeye. Yep. Get it snug, get it in there, and leave it.
They don't need a lot.
Play with it too much.
They're a ball and socket seal. They seal up good. All right. Well, hey, thank you for watching. What are we gonna do? Subscribe.
We're gonna subscribe probably. Subscribe, like, share it, and keep watching.
Definitely subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.